Yeah, I guess it's gonna work. Hey, Tubi people, Hollow Mad Mud Duck back to you. Friday the 22nd of November 2019. I made it through another fucking week, bitches. Woohoo. Today is my son, who isn't my son, but he is my son, but he isn't my son. He claims I'm just a fucking sperm donor. What is that little, how old is that little redheaded bastard? Showed you pictures of him the other night. Let's go with 38. That sounds about right. Fuck, don't know, don't care. All I know is the little bastard's got a fucking nasty little attitude. Spitting image of me. So evidently he's a good looking kid. So what's going on today? Logged on to YouTube and I had suggested videos to watch, that I would scrolling through and it said, your feed or whatever the fuck you call that shit. I've got 1, 2, 3 videos they suggest for me to, in my feed for bars, head gasket stop leak, one for Blue Devil head gasket stop leak, and then finally the last one that mentions bars before I said fuck this, decided I'd make a video and bitch about it, was one about the bar scam by some cat named David Krackefeller. And I thought that was funny because the other day I mentioned Bear's True Blue head gasket sealer while I was busy rambling on and on. Best shit there is, people. I suggest if you got a bad head gasket, check out Bear's. I've said I've been a mechanic for 50 years, and people have said, well, how in the hell were you able to be a mechanic for 50 years if you're only 60? Well, it works out like this. 69 was an interesting year. The music was good. The music was fantastic. Beatles were still together. You could get the single of Sugar Sugar by the Archies off the back of the Super Sugar Crisp box. You cut it out and you had your Sugar Sugar by the Archies. That big hit that year, I think. I think that was 69. Hell, if you can remember 69, you weren't there. Woodstock hadn't happened quite yet. I just finished building my models of the SST kit, where it was the Boeing Supersonic Transit, the SST. Basically, our version of the Concorde, for those that ain't hip to that. And it was 2 planes. One was with the nose in the down position and the wings spread out, and the other was with the wings in the delta position and the nose sticking straight out. It was a cool model kit. But that went up on the ceiling with 12 Constitution class starships. I built models when I was a kid. I had any damn model. Okay, I'm babbling. Saturday morning television was good. I do remember that. I think that was the fall that Scooby-Doo come out. Yeah, something like that. My interest was fishing. And the hippie girls that lived down in the old park used to come out when I was fishing and go skinny dipping. So I think I was fishing a lot back then. But one day the old man comes home in the van. His little 63 Ford Falcon club wagon window van, with the 2 seats in it. And when we got hit in, that's funny. Where we got hit was right in front of what became mine and Jeanette's, the nameless one, property. But that's a weird coincidence. But He pulled the van in one day into the garage while I was busy tinkering on my motorcycle. And he said, as soon as it cools off, I want you to take it all apart. I said, what? He said, as soon as that engine cools off, I want you to take it all apart. And I looked at him and he said, what? He says, I'll pay you $100 for it. I said, okay, I'm there. And the motorcycle I was tinkering on was a 1964 Honda 90. All the other little bastards in the neighborhood had just gotten new, the little mini bikes with lawnmower engine. You pull start it and you go around the little trails and up and down the streets on this little mini bike thing with these little tires. Well, I wanted a mini bike. And Dad said no, I couldn't have a mini bike. So one day he comes home from work, and in the back of the van, there's this 1964 Honda 90 with the chrome and rubber tank like a Triumph, where a motorcycle gas tank belongs. It wasn't a step-through 90. Speedometer said 65 on it. It had a headlight. It had an extra length of chain and a rear sprocket that bolted over the sprocket that was on it. Dirt tire in the back, tail light, brake light, horn, and it would do 65. And all of a sudden I didn't want a mini bike anymore. It was 10 years old. Dad got me that first motorcycle. Okay, so I take this straight six apart for Dad completely. And rebuild the damn thing. You know, he gets the parts, I put it together. I got a book that tells me how. Big black book that got greasy fingerprints in it. All through the transmission section. So I know Dad used it with the club wagon, not the club wagon, the country sedan, the 61 country sedan wagon. FMX transmission or something like that. A lot of fucking greasy fingerprints through there. And I rebuilt this engine. I remember going up to the store and asking the guy at the counter for a ring compressor. And he asked me how old I was, and I said 10. And he looked at me. Sent the crank in to have it turned. I basically rebuilt the engine when I was 10. From the driver's seat of the van, basically. And I got smart. I learned how to take parts of that cowl apart so I could get to the engine. And that was my first engine rebuild when I was 10. And I've been working on motorcycles, small engines. Hell, if it's a fucking 4-stroke engine, I can have it fixed in at least 20 minutes if it ain't too fucked off. Usually it's just a fucking carburetor. V8s I've owned. Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, Oldsmobile, Buick, Dodge, Chrysler, Studebaker, Isuzu, Mazda. Oh, what the fuck is the goddamn Sentra? Nissan. Owned some interesting cars through the years. I can fix goddamn anything that fucking is on wheels. And if it's an engine, I can fix that. And it's a natural thing. It comes to me naturally. I don't know how I can get into an engine I've never taken apart before and know the goddamn thing like I've been into it before. Scared me when I first started working on the probe because I hadn't worked on it before, but I knew every goddamn inch of it already. Same thing with the goddamn little Ford Aspire and Kia. That Aspire, Kia, whatever. That was a fun little car. And for some reason, I had an idea of every inch of these damn Z24 Cavaliers I had. Oh, that might be my money. But no, I started working on vehicles back in 1969, 10 years old, my first rebuild. Hell, I can't tell you how many times I'd had the goddamn motorcycle apart by that time. And I was getting paid for it, fixing engines, and that's when I started my own little shop. And then it became a 2-bay shop, and then it had to move to a bigger shop. And we were up to 3 bays with a lift. And for a while there was some money in it. Sometime after 9/11, it kind of went downhill and nobody was doing the damn thing. Then the strokes and heart attacks fucked me off to where I can't do anything. Yeah, I know, I'm smoking tobacco again. It's my thing. Keeps me calm, keeps me from going down and killing some dumb motherfucker down the hill. So, I gotta check that noise the phone made because that might be my money coming in. And I could use some money. Yeah, 69. It was built-in models. Go up on the rack with all the other models. I had all the weird car models. Red Baron, Munster Mobile with the coffin, the Dragula, Tarantula Dragster. Hell. One was a hearse, one was an old paddy wagon, then there was a pie wagon, and then there was one that was an outhouse, and all them weird ones. Yeah, I'm babbling. Enough of that shit. But all good and well up here. Haven't seen Goofy, haven't heard a noise. It's been dark, scary dark down there. Maybe they took her off and run off themselves. I hope so. Later.